Another great skill is learning how we can simplify a fraction or reduce a fraction. And what that means is we have two fractions that are equivalent fractions. So let's imagine that we have a proper fraction. We'll call it 24 over 40. Well, how do we reduce that? Well, there's, again, several ways to do that, but one way I kind of like to think about that is, well, can I rewrite these as factors? Can I think of a number, any number that goes in both the 24 and 40? May not be the highest, but it could be. Well, I know that 4 goes into both of those. So maybe what I'll do is I'll rewrite 24 as a 4 times a 6. I know that 40, that's also a number that has a factor of 4. 4 times 10. When that's the case, and I can think about it this way, I notice that both in the numerator and the denominator, there's a common factor. And that means I can factor those out. I can eliminate them. They're kind of a clever version of 1. What's left is I have a 6 over 10 left. Now it's simplified. Now it's reduced. But is it simplified all the way? Can I keep going? And you can answer that question by trying to look at it and figure out, is there a number that goes into both 6 and 10? And there is. I can write 2's. I think at both of them, there's 2 is a factor. So I can rewrite it as maybe 2 times 3 and 10, 2 times 5. Likewise, I see a number in the numerator and the denominator that's the same. So I can factor those out, and I'm left with a 3 over 5. Is there any more numbers that are common to both 3 and the 5? No, there's not. So I can say that 3/5 is completely simplified or is in a complete simplified form of 24/40. They're both the same value. They're equivalent fractions, but one is simplified all the way. Well, let's do another one. Let's see how well you guys are doing. Let's try 6/8. What do you want to do to simplify that? Well, let's try to see if there's a number that goes into both 6 and 8. And if there is, let's use that as one of the factors to make either the 6 or the 8. I think 2 goes into both. So 2 times a 3. And to make the 8, that's a 2 times a 4. The 2 over the 2, they factor out. And what's left? A 3 over a 4. So what we're able to do is, again, take a proper fraction, decide if it needs to be simplified. It does if there's a number that I can think of that goes into both. And then I rewrite both the numerator and the denominator as factors involving that number, cross the common factors out, and whatever's left, left. Then I'll look at what I get. I get 3/4. I look to see, is there a number that goes into both of those? In this case, there's not, so that one's completely simplified. But you want to keep going until you get to that end point where you can't find anything else again. And that's how we simplify.